All right, guys, thanks for tuning into the Olympian Project. Just a quick reminder that we are on iTunes, Spotify, and on YouTube in video format, as well as the Wednesday WOD. First episode just went up last week, so if you're interested, go check that out. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
And welcome to the
Olympian Project.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we're starting?
That's how we're starting today. The Olympian Project here. This is episode 3.
Yes.
And we're going to theme this
Thanksgiving. Yeah, because it's not Thanksgiving yet when this comes out, but in a few days we'll be
just around the
breaking
corner.
into that turkey.
Turkey, dressing. What, since we're talking about food, since I think we're going to talk about food quite a bit on here, what is your favorite dish at Thanksgiving?
God, that's a hard one. I mean, what is there? It's different every year.
If you don't know what's in there, then it's going to be hard to choose.
Potatoes are always good. I love mashed potatoes. That's a
mashed
solid.
Potatoes, number one?
Yeah. I love mashed potatoes.
Is that white gravy? That's brown gravy?
Dude, I just go raw, dude. Raw mashed potatoes.
Straight mashed potatoes.
Sometimes I'll put gravy on it or something.
It's an odd way to describe that, straight raw mashed potatoes. I've never been in a conversation where that's ever come up. No topping, no dressing, no gravy.
No. Sometimes.
Straight dry.
Just depends on how I'm feeling, but most of the time it's just potatoes.
We talked about when we first said we're going to start this podcast, and I think episode 1 or 2, I said we're going to get to know each other, and I was excited about that, but I'm starting to get a little freaked out. The more I know, no Star Wars and no gravy on mashed potatoes.
I keep it simple.
I'd have to say green bean casserole with the little crunchy onions on top.
Oh, God, no.
You don't like that?
No. Any casserole is pretty much out of the question. Casserole is just...
Because you're a picky eater.
Yeah. I don't like green stuff. Rabbit food.
The color. You don't like green.
Like anything that a rabbit would eat, I don't like it.
Do they make casseroles? Do rabbits make casseroles? Apparently. We just learned something
in the casserole.
New. So, but here, I'm going to flip it on you a little bit here. What about that trying something new we talked about last week?
There might be an opportunity this Thanksgiving. Family members, they always like to bring something a little...
Keep podcast episode number 2 in mind when you're looking at that spread, and there's some green stuff, that you never eat, and you have an opportunity to try something new.
That's fair point. You gotta take our advice a little bit there.
Green bean casserole, of course. Y'all do turkey or ham, or
usually
both?
Yeah.
Do both.
Okay.
Most
of the time, there's usually an option.
Yeah, we typically just do turkey on Thanksgiving, and then we do the ham on during Christmas. But I've heard a lot of people do both, so it's. I guess that's a thing. I don't know. We never did both. Yeah. That's a good option though, to have both of those.
Yeah, and I'm definitely more of a ham guy.
Yeah,
but
ham and no green stuff.
Both of them are kind of dry to me. Both ham and turkey. I'm not big on ham or turkey. They're both just kind of dry. Too dry.
Honey glazed ham. There's all the juices at the bottom you can get in there.
But like the texture, it's like a dry texture.
Yeah. Okay, you're more of a Popeye's chicken sandwich guy. Is that what you are?
Yeah, chicken's good.
Okay. So Thanksgiving around the corner. Of course, food is always fun. I think that brings the families together. There's football. There's these opportunities also during Thanksgiving for kind of reflecting on life and what you have and maybe what you don't have. And obviously, we want to think about those people, too, that don't have the opportunities that we have and may not get to sit down on a Thanksgiving dinner with a family, maybe not even sit down in a home during Thanksgiving. And so we want to talk about, what Thanksgiving really means to us and maybe some stories and and how it's affected us in the past and everything. So for you, what's the family do? I mean, y'all get together with other family members?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, usually, you know, well, because we have, my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family. Sometimes we'll have two Thanksgivings to go to, but it's always a family thing, and we always get together. And lately, it's been at our grandfather's, and I think we're gonna go to my grandmother's this weekend for Thanksgiving, or
Nice.
not this weekend, but
Right. Next, yeah.
yeah.
So something to kind of course, the Olympian Project. We want to focus on being our best version, and we thought Thanksgiving's a great opportunity to help others become their best version too. And talking about a couple things. First thing I wanted to start off with is one of our listeners, Brandy, said something after the last podcast that I thought was relative to this podcast, actually, too. And it was kind of the small wins and being thankful for even the small wins and not just reaching that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get caught up with, they get into a gym, they get into a fitness regimen, they get into a job, and they have like that, if the one goal, like I got to make this much money, I got to lose this much weight, and that's the only way they're going to be successful, and the only way they're going to be happy. And I can kind of tell you right now that even when you reach those things, that you're not going to be ultimately satisfied at that point. But so she said something in a comment on the last podcast, which was, small steps are still a step, right? It's still a step in the right direction. The smallest step in that direction can be a win. And I think it's really your perspective on how you want to look at it. If you're only focused on the end result, you're not going to be too happy on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, that's huge for just motivation, I mean, if you're only ever looking at the end goal, and you're not taking a moment, taking a step back to be thankful for the little things that you're achieving along the way, you're going to lose motivation at some point, and that may end up causing you to never even get there.
Yeah, you take a detour, and then all of a sudden you got to start over, or you might refocus or not focus at all, and lose, like you said, that momentum. And so you really have to reflect, like, again, it can go into a lot of different perspectives, but what you're trying to accomplish. And if that day you just didn't have fast food, you only had fast food once, but you've been having fast food 3 times a day. Yeah. It's a small victory. Like, the end game is to stop having fast food, right? If you're trying to be healthier and lose some weight or whatever. But that's still a win, and it's a small step in the right direction. Most of the time, what I've seen with clients in here and coaching and running a gym, 100% of the time, we don't set a goal one day and start to work out that day, and then the next day we've reached our goals. Like, it never has ever happened, and I don't think it's ever happened in the entire world. So there's always going to be these small steps. And so you've got to, obviously have the goals at the end of the road, that I still think are like intersections and not a dead end. Yeah. Because you're going to set that 20-pound loss and you're going to get there. Mm-hmm. Then what happens next?
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. No, I agree. And your goal might be to deadlift 500 pounds, but, you got to acknowledge that, hey, today I deadlifted 5 pounds more than I did yesterday. Or maybe your goal is to lose 30 pounds. Even if, you say you gain a pound back along that journey. Maybe you still ate better. You're still on the right track, Okay. You got to acknowledge that, Sure. I think that's something I'm still getting better at is seeing those small wins and taking them for what they are. And even, going after those small wins day to day. If you go into a workout and, your goal is to finish it, but maybe there's something much smaller that you can attack and, maybe improve some technique during the workout,
Right, yeah, and to tie it in, to be thankful for those small wins.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Is the theme here, Thanksgiving, around the corner. And it's just that. I mean, you have to understand that there's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back occasionally. And you have to be thankful for those small victories. And you have to also set up what those are. Like, is that a win that you only had fast food once instead of 3? Like, some people would say, no, that's not good enough. And I think those are small wins, and you have to change that perspective sometimes because you can be too hard on yourself. And I think that's an excuse for people, too, to back out of their goals, like trying to get there. Because typically a good goal and something that you really want to accomplish, that change, is never going to be easy. So it's real easy to, I'm still eating fast food. I can't do this, and back out of even trying. And that's just an excuse. That's just being lazy. Yeah. That's just finding another way out that you've been doing your whole entire life anyway. So, no, take the small steps forward as a win every time and work on that. And don't, in a weird way, you can use that positive to become a negative, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because it is a positive and it should be treated that way. And some people take that as still a negative and step out of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I've been trying to lose weight, but I've only lost so much weight. Well, that's, it's like a glass half empty situation for you. If you look at it as glass half full, then it's, the glass is half full.
Most of us, we're going to live, like, a year in our life is pretty short. I mean, you want to take advantage of it, don't get me wrong, but it's really short. So, like, if you're saying, well, I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, and by 6 months you've only lost 12, I'm just never going to reach my goals, I guess. No, I mean, all right, reevaluate. Those were really huge steps in the right directions, but some people would view them as small steps, and I think you got to take that as a victory. And so, and Thanksgiving, obviously it can be interpreted a lot of different ways, but right now we're saying to be thankful for those small wins.
For sure. Yeah.
Last Thursday, we had our Thanks winning bingo.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. It is something we do here at the gym. This is the 3rd time that we've hosted a bingo, and it's not always during Thanksgiving around that time. We've done it around Christmas. I think we did it around Easter one year. But this one was we called it Thanks Winning around Thanksgiving. And this was an event that bingo. I think if I wasn't a CrossFit coach, then I would be a bingo caller.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What do you think about...
He's pretty great at it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good with the banter for sure.
It's now, I'm not a professional bingo caller. I don't know most of the rules, to be honest, and I don't even know all the formations, so I have to ask for help.
Yeah. There were multiple points last night where you asked everyone else what the formation should be.
And also would call you don't need an in this formation, and I was calling in. So when you say that you're pretty good at it, it's fun for me, for sure. Yeah. But I thought it was fun for everybody else last night. It's one that it helps us as a gym raise some money for some new equipment. And it also is a good networking piece for us. So we get with a lot of local businesses, and they sponsor the bingo games. And we also have raffle prizes. And we had about 20-something prizes last night, 20-something winners. And it's always something to enjoy and do for the community in your gym. And so these are little things, if you're a gym owner listening or somebody that's involved in their gym, this is I thought was a pretty good idea, and has been for three sessions now. So
we've always had a pretty good turnout.
It's a win-win across the board. Thanks winning. So if you got any questions on that, of course, always we were looking for interaction on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. You can DM us, and we can get back some answers, hopefully, for that. So, Did you win anything last night, Gary?
I didn't play. I worked it. My parents didn't win anything either. No. So they struck out pretty hard.
Well, as many winners as we had about 3 times the amount of losers.
Yeah.
So, no, you're not losers, guys. I promise. You gave it your best. Yeah. It's a chance game, and I think it's fun to think that you got a chance. A lot of people get close, obviously, in bingo. So, if you've never played bingo, well,
it's fun. Funny story actually. Quite like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer. my mom took me to play bingo for the first time, like actual bingo.
Oh yeah. Oh, this was an actual
Well,
bingo.
you know, for money, right? And
Right.
I won $500. My
Really?
first time playing bingo.
How
I
old
did
were
have to
you?
split it. I did have to split it with my mom because she did pay for the
Oh, of
tickets, and that
course.
was the deal. But yeah, $500. First time
How
playing
old were you?
bingo. I don't know. I want to say in middle school. So
Really?
12 to 14.
And you could win it at 12 years
I
old?
don't. I'm not sure on the
Maybe she had to
specifics,
claim it,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that was your first time at bingo.
Yeah.
And hopefully last night we had a couple first timers win. I'm not real. I mean, I remember all the winners, but I'm not sure if they'd played bingo or not.
Yeah.
So, you know, who knows? Maybe they're now addicts of bingo.
Yeah.
I'm a gambling person
easy.
myself, so
And that's
I
the
didn't
one,
get to play.
one
But
thing you can technically gamble under 21.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have never played bingo, try it out at your local bingo hall. I don't know where you're at, so you'll have to find one yourself. But that's what we did last Thursday. Fun event. We're a CrossFit gym, but we try to do non-CrossFit things too for the community and just live normal life, I guess, because CrossFit can be quite consuming, which is good. It has that accountability that people are looking for to be, healthy and fit. So, yeah, it was a good change up. We talked about helping others. So Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Going back into that, being thankful and
Right.
yeah.
And so I'm going to kind of share a little something with you. And throughout my life, I've done a lot of different things. And, at your age especially, early 20s even, I was pretty invincible, basically like Superman. Like nothing had ever brought me down or hurt me. And at the time wasn't living a healthy lifestyle and definitely hit a hole in my life and like dropped down to a point where I had damaged my liver and it stopped producing the right enzymes to my brain. So I actually went through a point of anxiety and depression. But it was like a physical, it manifested physically for me at first. Like I didn't know what was going on. And I woke up one morning, I just felt real sick. I couldn't go to sleep that night. And this went on for like probably a week or two before I even went to a doctor. And I was like, I stopped everything I was doing, meaning all the bad stuff, because I just felt that bad. And when I say bad stuff, like I was drinking alcohol, I was drinking Monsters and energy drinks, dipping, smoking. I'm 23 years old, and I was still working out, going to school full time, and had a full time job. So stress obviously played a factor into this too. But I fell into this hole, and I went to the doctor, and they were like, you got a case of depression. And if you've never had anything that kind of comes out internally, where it's painful, this is really hard to understand. But for those that have had that situation where you'd rather have your arms broken off because you know where the pain's coming from. And so in this case, like you couldn't get rid of it. Like you just because you want to get rid of it doesn't mean it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so I went to the doctor. He said this is a case of some depression, and then the anxiety hit. I couldn't do things. I went from being like very outgoing, invincible, to I couldn't drive at night. Like the lights threw me off at driving. I was getting dizzy and disoriented, and I couldn't wake up in the mornings. I couldn't go to sleep at night. And so it was a complete 180 from what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
I go through this. I stopped everything because I knew that's where it had got me physically. And at that point was going through withdrawals as well of all those products. And don't get me wrong, not just from alcohol and tobacco use and stuff like that. Sugar from like the energy drinks and all that stuff and the caffeine. I mean, you're going to have withdrawals from that if you quit cold turkey like I did. I also started eating sugar replacements, so like sodas and Snicker bars, and it didn't help the fact at all. Gained about 30 pounds in like a month. So for 2 years, I fought this, and I fought figuring out how to handle this, and it was really difficult. And to be completely open, like I never thought like of suicide or anything like that, but I definitely wanted it to end. Like I was over this. It was tough every night thinking I'm not gonna wake up in the morning. I can't hardly get out of the house. I had to maintain a job in school. Eventually dropped out of school. Took a semester off. And where this is all going to tie into is I finally found a way to take my mind off of that. That pain that I had been dealing with was to help other people with pain. And that alone was able to kind of redirect my mental state, figuring out that other people are going through stuff too, and that I can help somebody because now I understand it on my side. So it was one of the huge changes in my life to say, like, everyone's going through something. And now that I know that and I've experienced it, because I never experienced anything like this before. I never really had any problems other than just always being broke, I guess, and not having no money. But that's you can go out and change that. I had to go out there and help people with their problems. Mm-hmm. And once I did that, I started to improve my own mental health and physical health too. So that alone, like, if you are somebody that's kind of stuck in a rut, I guess you will. And I think a lot of us go through something like that, and don't really know. Like, maybe they're not as they don't go through this often, and it happens, and it's very light. Like, people go through that and don't have any choice, and don't have a way to control it. I really would suggest going out and trying to help somebody else, like get involved in their life, and another person, and another person, and see how that makes you feel.
Yeah.
Have you ever volunteered or anything like that?
I'm kind of guilty of this, and you talked about how before in your early 20s and probably late teens, you felt kind of invincible. I guess right. I'm kind of in that same state right now. Yeah. Not that I feel like I'm better than anyone or anything, but I don't have any problems.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that's something that I need to work on is helping other people. And it's not like, I'm bad to other people.
Well, right, yeah.
But, I guess that is something that I should consider is going out and
it's not something to call you out on, but
yeah, no.
At that point in time, like, you're still learning who you are at that time, and it just gets real selfish, and I got overly consumed with just me. Mm-hmm. And when my walls came crashing down, well, I mean, the people around me too, I had loved ones around me, and they didn't understand what I was going through. And you kind of realize, like, you feel like you're on your own. And they can be there and be like, it's going to be okay and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, like, you're battling this, and then other people are battling this too. So, and it doesn't mean you have to go find somebody else that's dealing with the same thing as you. I mean, it could be somebody that's hungry. It could be somebody with a flat tire. Mm-hmm. It can be a lot of different things. And there is something to be said. Like, you feel better and productive when you go out and help somebody. And you really appreciate it a lot when you go out and help somebody that is in need. And I think you also learn to accept help better when you help people. Because I'll tell you this, and this is something I learned, we're not doing this life on our own. Like, you're going to need help through the way. If you think you're Billy Badass and you're going to go through this whole life and just make it all by yourself. These people that write these books and say I'm successful because of me, there was somebody behind the curtain, whether they knew it or not.
Yeah, we survived and thrived, humans, because we had each other.
Right.
That was. Yeah.
But nowadays it's it's about patting yourself on the back and putting it on social media and all this, and there's a name, and it's this guy or this girl that's made all this money or likes on whatever. There's somebody there, and it's helping them. And if they don't understand that and realize that, it's going to be a real empty journey for them. So I don't want to sit here ever and sit there and lie and say any of the success of the gym or my relationships are all because of me. It's not, and to dive in further, the finding a purpose to this life was a big point to that as well. Meaning that we're not alone. And for me, it was, I found a relationship with God at that time. Now, whatever that might be for you, it might be different, and that's for you to find out. But I realized I couldn't do it on my own. I needed help, and that's where I turned to outside of also the people in my life. And there's no way, I know I couldn't be where I'm at right now today without any of that help. And maybe there's a sense of I got to keep paying that back, but it really helps everybody else, and it's like this circle that never ends. And so, yeah, it's a long story, but if we're talking about Thanksgiving and the theme, it's around the corner, there's somebody that is hurting. There's somebody that's looking for answers, and it is our duty, I think, human to human, to help those people. Like, if I didn't get some help from some of the people that were in my life, and some of those people I don't see even today, like they were some students that I had a good relationship in class, but they saw that I was hurting at the time and stepped up and told me the right words. They were communicating what they felt about it, and it opened up my eyes to another way to look at life. Maybe that's something that somebody's looking for, or just listen. I had to vent. You can help people in a lot of different ways. And Thanksgiving is one of those times that we really think about all the things that we're thankful for, but let's think about things that people don't have, and what do they give thanks for? And I guarantee you, those people that don't have a lot, they still have a ton to be thankful for. And they'll tell you that. So it's just, if I could communicate anything with this Thanksgiving and being thankful, like, it's our duty to help one another and want to do that. Step up. You don't need an entity to tell you how to help people. I think we need to actually help our neighbor. And that's on you. That's if you want to do that or not. But there is something rewarding out of it for both sides, obviously. And so, I don't know, once you're there with your family and your people, just ask questions, shake hands, see how people are doing. You never know when somebody's dealing with something. And their thing is, whatever they're dealing with is going to be their biggest thing on the plate. Like, their world is coming down, and you're never going to completely understand, what they're going through. And even for somebody that's dealing with something that I almost dealt with that was exactly the same, it's just a little different. So I'm not going to sit there and help somebody and act like I know exactly what they're going through, because it's not exactly the same. And it's always, your problem is going to be the biggest thing in the world, especially if you think your world's coming down. So you don't want to play it too lightly. My brother had dealt with and has dealt with social anxieties his entire life, and we didn't know that growing up. So the thing was, it's, you said this growing up, and I was young and naive and invincible, and it's like, hey man, it's just in your head. Get over it. Like, just do it. Just come with me. I'll introduce you to some people, and you'll be okay. Do what I say. But when what I learned when I was brought down to my knees as an invincible person to somebody debilitated from this, I realized it's not just in your head, man. It is a struggle, and it's something that has to be worked on for sure. So that would be my motto for Thanksgiving, and then every day in life. Yeah. Always looking for that opportunity to help somebody.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Well,
I think we're going to go to a quick break, and then...
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll be back. All right, guys, before we get back into the podcast, I just want to let you guys know that we do have a Patreon account for those of you who want to support the Olympian Project and what we are trying to accomplish. Here, go to patreon.com/Olympian Project. There you'll be able to access bonus content such as monthly bonus episodes of the podcast, plus a few other perks like being able to listen to the podcast a day early and shout-outs in the podcast as well as Q&A priority. And if you want to support the podcast for free, and I'm going to stress that it's free, to go to iTunes and leave us a review, leave us a rating. It helps us out a lot. Thank you guys so much, and let's get back into the episode. We're back.
We are back. Couple things to go over, too, with the Thanksgiving right around the corner. Couple places to go and check out if you are looking to maybe donate some products, items, or even time. A good place to go to is your local Goodwill is always accepting, and they do some great work. Also, we looked up feedingamerica.org is another place to check out, and definitely helps out a lot of folks that are in need of some food, especially on this holiday season. I looked at a list here of other things that you can volunteer for delivering meals to people. You can do that on your own or find a local charity that's doing it. Turkey trot, we've done those before. Did you do the turkey trot last year?
Yeah, I did. Actually, the this year's is Saturday.
Are you doing it?
We planned on it, but I don't think.
No,
because we kind of forgot about it until a few days ago.
Run the turkey trot, guys. That money usually goes to usually your local food bank. I think that one's for the Montgomery County Food Bank. So check out your local turkey trot. Serve dinners at local soup kitchens or homeless shelters. Sending care packages to the troops, too, is something to think about. Guys that are out there serving your country. Of course, you can donate to your local food bank. And then also find the local residents that are in need in your community. So all that talk about doing something, now it's about getting off, the couch and actually doing it. So get motivated. Last week was trying something new. Well, that might be this week too. Mm-hmm. Doing your first sort of charity work, donation. Try something new, guys. Like we said in this, prefacing the whole project, a lot of this might be trying something new. And I don't want to go all the way back into this, but if we're trying to be our best version, this might be a key to that. Finding a different personality that you have that really enjoys this and giving back to the community. So, all right, moving on. What do we got next there, Gary?
Right, we're going to switch gears here a little bit and jump into the CrossFit world. CrossFit. Here down in the South in Texas, and then I think a few other states participate, there's a competition that goes on every year called TFX. We have a few members every year that usually go down there and compete. A lot of them, we have a few more members that participate in the qualifier, even do the workouts if they're not doing the qualifier. But this year, and we just got this email this morning, so hot news. It's going to be a little bit late by the time you're hearing this podcast, but TFX, they canceled the 2020 season.
2020 season has been canceled.
Yeah.
And they write this email, I'm assuming to most that have either participated or done a qualifier. And we'll go over some of the highlights of the email. And if you've done TFX, you've probably looking at the same email. But this is a pretty big deal. Now, they're not a sanctional. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about a couple of theories that we have, but, to me, a huge surprise. If you've ever been to this event, they have a lot of stuff going on, and it's a huge crowd every year. And as a coach of a gym, and of course, we don't have games athletes, or we never have, at least. Not that we couldn't eventually one day. But this was like that next, experience, and the Fittest Experience, but for someone to kind of get on the big stage, and they had the venue that was like the big stage, kind of like the old regionals. Yeah. And I've done this competition twice myself, and it was really an awesome experience for somebody that knew that they were going to be kind of more of a local competitor. And a lot of people look forward to this one. I know you were this year.
Yeah, me for sure. I mean, I did participate in the qualifier last year. I was still a teen. I was still in the teen division then, and team division for TFX, it's basically, games level. They're basically pros.
Well, they don't have as many spots either. So
Yeah,
you do the qualifier, and they only take usually about, what, 10 folks?
Yeah, and the top 3 are games level teams.
Right.
So, I mean, it's tough competition there. And I think last year you participated in a few of our older. You participated last year?
I didn't do it last year.
Yeah. We had a few of our older athletes who,
Wow,
were
older
doing
athletes.
Well, I'm young, so.
I'm just now in the Masters.
But,
Okay. Jeremy,
but,
what was it? Jeremy last year
Jeremy,
and Peyton.
Gabe
Didn't.
did the qualifier.
Well, okay, you're talking about the qualifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran through the qualifier.
And the qualifier and the qualifying workouts for me. I remember there was that squat workout. It was front squats and burpees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically squats for max effort. I had to do 155 while you, Jeremy, y'all had to do 115 or something.
Oh, yeah, because we were in the intermediate scale division.
That just goes to show that the team division is a little bit tougher, so I didn't get to make it, which I was a little upset about. But this year I was going to attack it hard and try and go for, the scale division, but looks like that's not gonna happen.
No.
And I've really been itching to compete because I've never actually really competed. There was Kill Switch, which is a 6-man team, which I don't know. I didn't really
and oddly
enjoy
enough,
it too much.
Well, they canceled their 2019 competition this year.
Yeah.
Which was out of nowhere, kind of like this was.
So and like Justin was saying, for me, this was kind of I wanted to compete and. Looks like it's going to be a little bit longer before I get to do that.
Well, being in Texas, this is obviously relative to us, maybe more so than somebody outside the state. You can check out their website. It's still up, thefittestexperience.com, to kind of see what this venue and event was like. And a lot of states probably have something very similar to this. I think they also thought when everything changed with the games and regionals that they were going to be on tap for sanctional, because in the competitive world, in the competitions that we see, not that these are the only ones that I'm going to say, but Wadapalooza is one that comes to mind. The Granite Games is another one that comes to mind. And then TFX was one that, I thought was in the same boat as far as size and competition. You had games guys come to this competition. They pay out pretty good. And so when and I don't know how it all went down. I'm sure they contacted people. Maybe they even contacted TFX when they were looking for sanctionals. Or maybe they didn't at all, but something didn't happen and they didn't become a sanctional. I think the direction, or at least their direction mentally, something changed. And the event itself was still big. It was still a good event last year. But maybe that's something that had an effect on why this email was sent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they say, there's a few lines in here. They say they began to have reservations about the future trajectory, and that he began to feel the current model was no longer sustainable. Which
is he referring to TFX? Okay, you're talking about the fourth
paragraph.
Yeah. So as the 2020 season started to approach, I began to have reservations about the future trajectory of the Fittest Experience competition. So, okay, he's kind of referring to his own deal. I began to feel that the current model was no longer sustainable. So, you could read into this a lot, and these are just theories. We have no direct connection to their establishment and talk to anybody. This is literally the email came out this morning, right? Yeah.
3 hours ago.
So, this is all just talking, but it could be a financial deal. I think anytime you get something that big and you have to get that many people involved, I mean, yeah, it looks big. We know what we're paying to do the qualifier alone and then pay to go play. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of stuff going on, the venue itself, the staff. And then you got to divvy that all up to keep people interested. I mean, maybe in equipment too, right? Equipment would be another overhead. So maybe this is a financial decision, not being able to be sustainable financially.
Yeah. It says in the next paragraph, the growth at all cost model has brought the realization that this event had to become a full-time focus or must be restructured and set up for long-term success for everyone involved. So it seems like they were just they weren't giving it 100%. And with an event this size,
Right.
you know, it has to be something you focus on more than just, you know, a few months out.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw even with the bingo, our little bingo
Right.
community thing. It's a lot of work to
Lot
put
of
just
work.
something that size together. So something on this scale, it takes a lot of time. Looks like they just weren't focused.
Well, and I might be wrong on this, but I believe this was sent by Jeremy Thiel, and I want to say that he is an owner of a couple of gyms, and there might be some partnerships there too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another idea behind why this is happening. Was there a fallout of partnership? You know, I know he's the main guy, but it does take usually quite a few people to run a competition like this. So was there maybe a falling out there? And there's truth to that too. I think if somebody really honors their craft, and in this case running an event this big, you don't want to fall short. I run a competition out of this gym, and we have like 40 to 50 athletes, and you really don't make, you know, the money that is probably required for the time and effort. So I can imagine on that scale, and he said early on too, the growth at all cost model, like you're taking on new things and expanding it, and if it makes sense or not, you still do it. Maybe the precedent wasn't set on certain things to keep it growing. So this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. He's owner of CrossFit Central. Like I said, I think there's multiple locations, but I could be wrong. And it looks like he also has a podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we might get some more information off of that.
Maybe.
I'm gonna take a look at that real quick.
Yeah, and so it goes on to talk about how they're formulating a new structure. So it doesn't seem like this is the end of TFX, you know, and that'd be a pretty good thing. That'd be pretty huge for, you know, all our athletes down here, never really having something to work for, I guess, besides the Open. But, you know, that's a big deal for some of us. It's formulating a new structure. I'm curious as to what that means in terms of, you know, are they going to still going to do a qualifier? Stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, but without having the event, where's the what are you qualifying for, right?
Well, formulating a new structure, I think, for the whole, you know.
So they're taking a year off to come back.
Yeah, that's what it seems
Potentially.
like from the email.
Right. Yeah, and I wouldn't think it's just to formulate a new structure for just a qualifier. Obviously, a qualifier has to qualify for something. So then in return, they would have an event to follow, and maybe they do need to change some things. I don't know. This is a big hit, though, for a big competition like this to just take a year off. You know, that's a lot of momentum. That's a momentum killer, if you will, for such an event like this. And it also opens up the potential of other people that want to come in, probably not at this scale, but another competition and here and another competition there and another one, and it really kind of take up some of the time and the time frame for them. I think when you're trying to build a competition like that, you can't, you know, stay out of the light for too long, and people start to forget, right?
Yeah. I mean, the at this point, the competition itself is still 6 months out. You know, people who were going to compete or attempt to compete are going to be would have been thinking about that for the next 6 months. Well, now you have the next 6 months that they're not going to be thinking about it anymore, and the next 6 months after that, until they, you know, hopefully announce another season.
Yeah, it looks like he was on Operator Podcast with some of the guys that I've recognized even from the competition. Another guy, Jesse O'Brien, they partnered up, looked like, in the Fittest Experience. And then, but the last post that I see on their Facebook is from 2017. So maybe that's not even operational right now, but might check it out, Operator Podcast, and maybe there's some more information. We'll do the same for sure. So, yeah, that was some big news this morning in the CrossFit world. The TFX sends out the email saying they're down this year at least, and really didn't answer anything else for the future. Other than thanking everyone for being there. And like I said, this isn't to call them out at all. This is topic right
Discussion,
now, a
yeah.
discussion of what's going on, because we've always supported this competition, and in a way, a little disappointed, obviously, that we can't try to compete once again at TFX, and got to find that next level.
I was just getting ready to start training for the qualifier, so now I got to find something else to occupy my time.
This was a big one for us. I mean, it's Austin. For us, it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours away, and we usually round up quite a few members to go out to this one. So, yeah, I mean, now we've got to find that next one, and there will be another one. And there's a lot of Houston area competitions too, and we'll find it. But yeah, kind of a sad day to see the Fittest Experience drop out. And like I said, if you've never checked it out and you're listening to this podcast, they still got their website up, thefitestexperience.com, and maybe they're going to come back. And hopefully,
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, that kind of goes into some more CrossFit talk. The workout on Wednesday we released last week, sorry. That was Donnie. No, that was,
Donnie.
It was Donnie. Yeah. And 21:15, 9, 15, 21. Of course, the video's on YouTube.
Yes.
And we break it down as the video's playing, and that's some athletes from our gym. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of get a first look at the workout, how you see some athletes that you might kind of associate yourself with, just obviously by looking, but maybe they're moving a certain way, and you're like, all right, this is kind of how I would approach it. And it gives you a little strategy, a little insight to, before you do the workout, how it might look or supposed to look, or maybe things you can avoid. So check out that video on our YouTube channel. That is
the Olympian Project.
The Olympian Project on YouTube. Mm-hmm. We've got a couple videos up now, of course, of the podcast as well. So if you found us there, there's the video for the workout too.
Be sure to subscribe for more of that. We are going to be doing that every week, releasing a workout. I know I always find myself online looking for workouts to do. So
yeah,
if you ever find yourself wanting to do a workout, that's a great place to do it. Just be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, check it out. Subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel. Yeah. Also, we want to hear how you did.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you can put that in the comments, your results. And like I said, I think this is unique because I'm always looking for different workout ideas, and you might find one, but to have a video linked with it and kind of see the concept behind the writing on the wall. Now, this was a hero workout, and we didn't come up with that one, obviously.
Yeah, so it might be a workout you've done before.
Right, yeah, you could see some more hero and benchmark workouts programmed for that workout Wednesday, and you can see how other people attack Fran, for example, or something like that. The next workout will be coming out this Wednesday.
Yeah. Which I liked. That was a fun workout.
Yeah, without giving it away.
Yeah, of course.
This one I think is very CrossFit-y.
Oh, yeah.
And it's completely different than last week's, and
kind of.
It'll be fun.
One similar movement.
Well, I'm thinking structure.
Structure, yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking structure. So anyway, look for that workout coming out this next Wednesday with the video as well. Check out the video, comment on the video, but also get you a little strategy before you go and take on the workout.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna wrap up there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be out of town this week for Thanksgiving, and you're gonna be here. So
I'll be eating turkey and mashed potatoes.
I'll be in Tennessee.
No
I might swing over and say what's up to Rich Froning.
Yeah,
I'll be in the area.
There you go.
I don't know Rich Froning, by the way.
Yeah, I did meet Rich Froning.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
Crap. What's the name?
That was a competition.
It's
BCS.
BCS.
Over there in College Station.
BCS.
BCS
class.
BCS class.
I say we met. It was a picture. It was a quick picture.
Oh, you're not best friends?
I mean, pretty close.
Pretty close.
We're
to
like,
friends.
we're good friends.
Does he know your name? Okay,
Yeah,
that's all
sure.
I needed to know. the pause says it all. So, all right, yeah, that's gonna wrap up episode 3, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As stated in the break in the beginning too, you can hit up all those platforms and check us out. We'd love your feedback anytime you got it.
Again, review on iTunes or maybe just a rating. It's a huge help. Helps us, kind of grow and continue to grow. So if you guys want to do that, that'd be awesome. It's free. It's completely free to leave a review.
Yeah.
So. Takes 5 seconds.
Something else I would love to see over this next week, maybe on the Instagram platform, is like, why don't you tag us in you helping out somebody? Maybe you've donated some time, you donated some food. I'm going to try to find something while I'm in Tennessee to do and tag the Olympian Project on Instagram or Facebook. But if you do something, man, share it with us. We want to definitely, whether it's a picture or just comment a story of how you did some time and helping somebody out during this Thanksgiving period, we want to hear about it, and we want to shout you out for sure on the next podcast or the next video. So put that on one of those platforms, and we can definitely recognize those that are helping and, you know, try to make that change and create this new Olympian that we're looking for.
All right.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
See ya.